Greetings! I am Tantus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire. Welcome! It's time to talk about 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Are you ready, players? It's time to continue making our characters. Last time, we mentioned that a big choice you're going to make after you've chosen your race and your class is your background. Your background will give you a little bit more abilities, it'll give you a few more skills, it'll give you a little bit more to give your character, that spark of life. So let's talk about the different backgrounds. I'm going to start in this episode and go through a few episodes of talking about the background. So the first background I'm going to talk about is an Acolyte. An Acolyte means you were a member of a temple of some kind of god or pantheon of gods, that you were a servant of a faith, that you lived in this area based upon this faith, and you worked on servitude of that faith. Now, it could mean that you were just a basic Acolyte, like you were a monk in a monastery, or you were a priest in a temple. It could mean you were the high priest of a temple and the calling told you to go out into the world. It could mean that maybe you were the leader of your own cult for this religion. And the thing is, you don't have to have still been under that religious purview. You could be have been part of a religion that you decided you're no longer a member of, and you're part of a new religion, and that's why you're journeying to learn about this new religion. It's entirely up to you how you build your history as an Acolyte, as a servant of a faith. You're still serving that faith, or if you get a new one, completely up to you. Now, you do get a few things for being an Acolyte. So you get proficiency in 2 skills, insight and religion. You get 2 languages which you understand, and you get a bit of equipment, which is based upon your time as an Acolyte, little bits of religious equipment. Now, you do get 1 feature for being an Acolyte. You get Shelter of the Faithful. What Shelter of the Faithful says is, should you go to a temple, a monastery, a building related to your faith, they will give you and your allies healing for free and care. So they'll look after you if you're injured. It's a good way that you can go into a place and get some help. Now, you can also stay there yourself. This doesn't apply to your friends. You can stay there for free room and board at that same location. Now, part of this ability, you could choose a home base to be part of, a home temple or monastery or whatever. And if you go back there, you could get help from people from that monastery, as long as it's not dangerous. So if you need help doing something not dangerous, you could recruit it there. And again, with all these backgrounds, I'm only going to say this once now, they each suggest those characteristics of your personality, and they give the lists of them, which you can look over. And again, you could choose from these lists, you can roll on these lists, or you can work something out with your GM that's completely different. So the next background we're going to talk about is being a Charlatan. A Charlatan is a snake oil salesman, is a master of trickery. It would be the medieval equivalent of a used car salesman. Think of it that way. That's basically what you are. Now, you get skill bonuses in Deception and Sleight of Hand. You have proficiency in the tools of the Forgery Kit and the Disguise Kit. And you get a bit of equipment that matches your sort of purview as being a Charlatan. Now, every Charlatan chooses a favorite scheme. There's a list of favorite schemes, and you have the option of choosing one from the list, or rolling on the list, or talking to your DM to make up your own, which falls under that purview of some kind of scheme that you like to do. Now, the ability you get for being a Charlatan is a second identity, which means you literally have all the paperwork, all the necessary things to exist as a separate person. So you have these 2 identities. So if something goes wrong with this one, you can, get rid of some of the heat for a while and pretend to be this person, because you have this second identity. And you have the ability to forge paperwork for whatever identity you're being at the time. So I could forge the paperwork I need to be my second identity or my first identity, depending on what's going on in my life. So the next background you could be is a criminal. This means you have connections to the criminal underworld. You were a criminal for a period in your life, you might still be, regardless if you are or not, you still have those connections to the underworld, into that sort of criminal organization. You get proficiency in the Deception skill and the Stealth skill. You proficiency with the tools of one type of gaming tool and Thieves' tools. You, of course, get some equipment, which is based upon your criminal past. And if you're being a criminal, there's a chart of 8 sort of criminal backgrounds that you can either choose from or roll on to be the kind of criminal that's on that list. And you can also discuss with your GM if you want to be something else entirely. Now, you get, as part of being a criminal connection. This is someone that you can communicate with pretty easily, who acts as your connection to the criminal underground. So that means if you need to contact this person to get into this sort of criminal thing, or contact this person to talk about this sort of criminal thing for information, contacts the town you are, black market items, you can go to your contact, and you have a special kind of way that you can reach them. some type of messenger service, some type of way that you can contact him with magic, maybe through traders or something, which you can reach him or her very quickly when you need to talk to them about your connections. Now this is the first background to have a variant. Variants are sort of different takes on a lot of these backgrounds, which are related to them and would use the same sort of skills and tool bonuses and even the same abilities, but the sort of essence of it is different. And in this case, it's the spy, where you're a person that's being to espionage. So a lot of these skills and these contacts work really well for a spy, but you're different sort of thing. You're working for a country, spying on another country. That's the sort of job you get into. Now next up is the entertainer. You're a poet, you're an actor, you're a singer, you're a dancer, you're a musician. This is the sort of thing you do. You entertain people and you like to make them happy. So as an entertainer, you get proficiency in the skills of acrobatics and performance. And you get your tool proficiency in a disguise kit and in one musical instrument of your choice. And of course you get a bit of equipment which affects you as an entertainer. Now there is a list of 10 entertainment routines that maybe you're good at, and you would of course either choose from them, roll on them, or discuss again with GM to have something different. Now the special ability of an entertainer is called by popular demand. It means if I go into a town or a city, I can find a place that I can perform. The place that you find that you can perform at, it will give you free room and board. So it's a place that you can go to and you'll work there while you're in town, and in turn, you just can live there for free. Now, another advantage of this is that if you've performed in a town, you begin to become famous locally. The more you perform, the more people know about you and be interested, and they might recognize you on the streets, and it might get you something with those people, because you'd now be famous to them. Now, a variant on entertainer is, of course, the Gladiator. The Gladiator means that you're built on making entertainment through combat, that you do flamboyant and showy displays during combat to entertain people. And it sort of would be a different variation on it, where instead of going to a performance hall, you might be going to a gladiatorial arena, or maybe like an underground fighting ring, and then you put on a show and people would enjoy that and you become famous in that circle. Now, the last background I'm going to talk about today is the folk hero. The folk hero means that through either some chance or by some kind of circumstance, you have now become a hero to the people. You've gotten to this circumstance where you went from like farmer to hero to adventurer, or from like just this humble blacksmith the same way, that something happened in your life to do that. Now the skills you have proficiency with are animal handling and survival. You also are proficient in two tools, an artisan tools of your choice, and land vehicles, which means you could control a carriage or a wagon. And of course, again, you can also get some equipment based on if you're a folk hero, and there's a defining moment in your heroic background that you have to either, again, choose one from a list of 10, roll in that list, or talk to your GM about one that would be extra on that list. Now you get the ability Rustic Hospitality. That means you can go out to the common folk and you will find people that are willing to give you shelter, that are willing to help you rest, recuperate, to look after you, to hide you, to do whatever, as long as their lives aren't threatened, and as long as you don't seem dangerous to them. But you could just go out into the people and spend time with them and just rest and recuperate, and they look after you for free, as long as you live up to that heroic tradition. So that's all the backgrounds I'm going to talk about today. If you have any questions about any of these backgrounds in general, anything about 5th edition, just leave them in the comments below. We can discuss, we can go over them. I can try to answer your questions to the best of my abilities. Please subscribe to the channel. We're always looking for more members of the Empire. If you're subscribed, please like this video. It shows that you support and you enjoy it, and then share it. Share it with your friends, with anybody you think might be able to learn something from this video or from any of my videos. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.